All right, ladies and gentlemen, back here, finally on the X, 88.9 FM, WMCX West Long Branch, New Jersey, as the BCP Plus boys present the Downbeat Beatdown Hour. It's been a couple weeks. Happy New Year, happy holidays, everyone. We're up and running, ready to go as we talk everything from the local independent wrestling scene all the way to the world of WWE and everything in between. And we also support the local artists here in the greater Asbury Park and New Jersey area. Rob Williams back here with our good friend, the anti-smark, Matt Wittes. How are you, sir? And Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year to you. Feeling supersonic, loaded with antibiotics.
Nice. You always keep I feel like you just come up with these during the week, man.
It's on the drive over.
I love
Not
really.
hard.
That's pretty good. That's awesome, man. I'm here for it. We do talk about, obviously, the music scene. We have a whole lot of wrestling. It's been a couple weeks here. So thank you, everyone, at Monmouth University again for the opportunity. Happy to be back again. Hope everyone had a happy, healthy holiday. Happy New Year to everyone. But so much has happened in the pro wrestling world. We're going to be a little bit all over the place today. I got a superstar, TNA superstar interview highlights to share in a little bit, thanks to our buddy Kelvin Cately. But some somber news. I hate starting off this way, but like we've always done here, is we always like to kind of pay our respect and thank those people that have entertained us, particularly on this show with the wrestlers and the musicians. And I believe, Matt, I saw you post this earlier today. The Grateful Dead's Bob Weir passed away. Was it last night or earlier this morning?
Yes. Bob Weir passed away at age 78 yesterday. And, I was never the biggest of deadheads. I'm not going to sit out here and pretend that I was. But I have, friends and family members who were more into it. So I was always around it. And,
Same.
The Grateful Dead, they left an indelible mark on American music. We always say support the independents here. There's really nobody more independent than the Grateful Dead throughout the years. And I always liked another local guy, Kevin Smith.
Sure.
He, big Daredevil fan, he compared Daredevil to the Grateful Dead. Said never had the audience of the Stones or the Beatles, but the people who did were very loyal and very deep into it. And I remember when Jerry Garcia died, which was unfortunately a very long time ago, gone too soon. And now we pay our respects to Bob Weir.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. I like that comparison and seeing similar thoughts there, paying our respect. Thank you to anyone who's ever entertained us, takes us away, just like wrestling, from the real world drama or whatever drama we have going on in our personal lives. One thing I've always liked about this show, man, and, I do want to feature more of the music here as well. And was never a Grateful Dead guy myself either, Matt, but and I'm a percussionist, which is a fancy way of saying drummer, but a lot of percussionists I know, big Grateful Dead, like big time Grateful Dead fans, and I think they were particularly known for a lot of their percussion and more of that jam band style, which a lot of our friends are into. You had mentioned off air how they would play like a regular song in their set and it would be like an extended version because you get talented musicians or a jam band or good percussion, and that's what they did. So rest in peace, Bob Weir, sending all the love and prayers to his family. As I always have to make this awkward segue as we get back into the crazy circus that is professional wrestling. Matt, I made a little list here, let's see if I can pull it up, of a lot of the things. I'm probably going to miss a lot of things that happened while we were on break here at the X 88.9 FM. Well, the big one, Drew McIntyre, we're going to get into this very, very soon, wins the WWE Championship. That was on Friday. John Cena, we talked about leading up to that match, taps out to Gunther. I mean, we've covered that full, but there's so much to say.
Very, a lot of arguments about that. I understood it.
Same.
I don't know what the people in the audience or the people there live, what they were thinking or what they expected. I think we all heard it.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know why they were expecting that, but
yeah. I don't want to get into too much, Matt, and I've said this on some of our clips and stuff, but I'll say this here, and we'll move on from this. I know it was a couple weeks ago, certainly not old news by any matter, but I was there, covering the event in DC, and when he took his final lap up the ramp, said goodbye, final bow, said goodbye, I was the only one in my section in the upper levels clapping. Like, I stood up, not the only one clapping, but the only one standing up clapping, because the air was sucked out of the arena, and I saw it in real time. I didn't necessarily expect him to tap. I expected him to lose. We've been saying here for months that it would be Gunther. He would lose. He would go out of his back. He's an old school guy, respect for the business. So the next hero, the next John Cena, whoever can step up and defeat this monster that is Gunther. I understood it. Again, we're closer to the business than just, I would say, than regular fans, and I mean no disrespect here. I do love that the fans were emotionally invested. I love that everyone there believed that John Cena was going to win in that moment, but it was almost awkward at the end. Like, not just, they were chanting choice words into the crowd that we cannot say here on the radio. They were not thrilled. And, going after Hunter and, right, wrong, indifferent, whatever it is, man. It was, I wanted him to get a little bit more love on the way out, but in his mind, it probably couldn't have gone better. Like, I get it for the business of it and the continuation of storyline and the heat on Gunther and all that.
Yes.
It's apropos, I guess is the word.
It was. And I just want to throw this. I'm watching live at home, and my little guy's sitting there next to me watching. And when John Cena turns around before he goes to the curtain one last time and salutes everybody, he saluted.
No.
He's sitting on the couch, and my wife almost teared up.
I love, you didn't tell me that. I love that. So he was, but this is what I always like to, say. We're so intertwined in it, whether it's the journalism or personal relationships with the independents or the next level or people we know, or we know the inner workings. We talk about the curtain. Unreal, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But to look at it through the eyes of like your kids or Dan's kids, like, that's so important, man, because all the magic is still there. These are your heroes. These are your villains. This is how we should look at it, I feel, at times. And I love that your kid saluted John Cena on his way out, man. I'm so glad we got into that, because now I know that, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. I love that. As we continue to go down the list of things that had happened here, Trick making his main roster debut officially, looks like on SmackDown. Matt Cardona, not Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona is back officially in the WWE. We did a little article on that, him returning, man. So happy to see that. He has grinded and helped a ton of independent talent get to that next level. He has left the independents better than he found it and grinded for 5 to 6 years, doing everything he can, made huge entrances out of smaller events, made GCW events that much bigger, won titles everywhere, worked with some of the top stars on the independents, man. He really deserves it. That's just very full circle, very well-deserved moment. The Women's U.S. Championship has hot potatoed back to Julia again in a bit of a head-scratcher for me. Oba Femi leaves the title in the ring. There's so many things that happen. We'll try to hit on all of these if we can. But real quick, Matt, Drew McIntyre is your new, WWE Undisputed Champion, man.
Yeah. It's not surprising that, we have a title change. I think it was nice for the European crowds.
Oh,
because
gosh, yeah.
The European crowds are they're incredibly loyal. They're great crowds. They are electric most of the time, when a lot of times, you can go to a major U.S. city and the matches are good and the promos are good, but you watch on TV, it seems like a dud because nobody's paying attention. And, there's a lot of people think that Drew should have gotten his, a title win in Europe a few years ago at Clash at the Castle. Mm-hmm. In his home. Well, they won't do it in his hometown. That would be just silly. But to do it over there, good sequence of matches to put it together. And then, the returning, I think ahead of schedule, the returning Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here. I'm going to go on and again, I told you this off air, Matt, whenever you need to, reel me in. I don't do these hot takes or rants or anything like that. I don't think that's my my brand here, Matt, but a little something that got me. And again, disclaimer, it's the way of the world. It's this social media era. It's this reality era when it comes to, just in terms of pro wrestling, I'm talking about. Nothing else in terms of pro wrestling. We are heading up to the Vicious One and myself, heading up to ISPW Friday night for their event. We're in the car. She's driving. I'm on my phone. I'm on Facebook or whatever social media. Just the first thing that's on my feed wasn't looking for anything. It's 4:45 p.m. SmackDown has not aired yet, right? It did take place in Berlin. It was Berlin, as R-Truth actually went to Burlington Coat Factory, but that's another story for another day, which is brilliant. Shout out R-Truth, former guest of the show. And so she's driving. I pull up my feed. Drew McIntyre is your new WWE champion. Like, this is, 3 hours before the show airs. I saw one journalist report it with the picture of him with the title. Then major news outlets like Vital, he's the new champion. Now, I get it. Get your clicks, make your money. You heard it here first, whatever. I get it. I understand the business of it. I understand the almighty dollar. I understand the clicks, the exposure, we said it first. I get it. Like, I'm not naive to any of that, right? I don't think we do that. In fact, Matt, I'll tell you this. Not just making this up or patting ourselves on the back. Someone that literally messaged me while I was at ISPW and said they were upset about the spoiler and said, thank you guys for not doing that. Thank you guys for not reporting that. And I said, no, never, because I think the reason we do this is we love the magic of it. We call it like we see it, but we love the magic of it. My problem is, and I understand all of it, 4:45, 3 hours before the show, there's a different way to do it. You're going to get less clicks. I get it. You're going to make less money. And at the end of the day, I mean, I lose the argument there already. But just in terms of like you talk about your kids saluting John Cena. This was a 3 stages of HE double hockey, whatever you want to say. I don't know what we can say here on the radio. 3 stages of heck match, whatever it is. And it was about almost like an hour long. Incredible. These guys put their body on the line. Cody jumped off the rail. Like, I don't know how they kept going through these 3 different matches, almost an hour long, however long it was. Incredible. There was some stuff that happened that you mentioned. My problem is, Matt, we didn't get to, and a huge title change, very well deserved for Drew. I have no problem with the title change, but no one got to experience it. We did not go on the ride of that, Matt. They put their bodies on the line. Again, I'm impartial to some of these wrestlers. I get it, but or partial, I should say. But no one got to. I don't want to say no one, but you really didn't get to experience that match. I knew the result going in, watching it, and it was still incredible. But I just feel it would have been that much better. Not knowing. And I'm a huge spoiler phobe, Matt. I am, man.
You are.
And I know it's the way of the world, and you're probably going to tell me, hey, man, like, I don't know what to tell you. But it was tough.
You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, there is a way that they can put these things, huge news with SmackDown spoilers from Germany. You can put that as your headline when you're putting these results out to get your clicks.
Title change, blah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Huge title change, and you don't know who it is now. Half the time you hear huge title change, they're talking about
the speed.
Yeah, the women's speed title or an NXT.
I could go on a speed rant too, but I digress.
Well, apparently it is now the NXT speed title, not the WWE speed title. I heard it referred to that. Maybe it's been referred to that before, but first time I heard it was this past week. But yeah, that's. I'm almost the opposite way. Okay. Sometimes I will be. Watching a movie at home, it's like about 30 minutes in, I'm like, all right, let me just make sure this isn't going to ruin my day, and I'll go to Wikipedia and look at the plot summary just to make sure that I'm just not going to get something ruined here.
So I get that, right? Your time is valuable. Mine is, I understand that. Like, especially in this era, where things are very, the long form is a little bit a thing of the past, where like the short clips and the 90-second video. Like I very privy to that. I understand that, as we do a very long form radio show, and I kid. But I love seeing nuance, character building, performances by each character, not just in wrestling physically, but the little things they do. When Cody did the bionic elbow, he had a choice hand gesture, I'll put it that way, to Drew. Just like little things that really showed the aggression. As soon as the bell rang, like Cody just gave the title to bam, bam, right after Drew. Like little things like that. I like being there for like you said with Kendall, right? Put the phone down, turn off the porch light, stuff like that. And I know I'm being picky here, but regardless, Drew won.
Yes, Drew won, and just the promos that Cody was cutting earlier that day and the week before. I think our friend Kelvin is is salivating right now. I think he sees something coming.
Shout out Kelvin. He gets a couple shout outs today. But I do want to say this. I'm not mad at the decision to put I'm mad at the spoilers, and that's a whole different thing, and that's just personal choice here. And again, like what you said about or your kid, I should say, saluting the screen, man. I just love the magic of that. I love the blue. That makes me so happy to hear that. Like, that just really made my day. I'm not just saying that. But, like, you know, I don't think he's going to see it on Facebook or anything like that, but he can experience that. But I just like that, you know, that's what got us into this in the first place, you know? Yeah. And I love that. But I'm going off on a tangent here, but I do love that Drew won the title. I think it's apropos. He has been working his tail off, and he has been working very, very hard. Promos of the year. I mean, he had the picture of the title in the bed with him, and he said he would take it to Glasgow, which he did to the house show the next day. Nice. Man of my word. It's the little things, man.
And you know what? Drew McIntyre is definitely one of those guys, you know, in that whole mix of people like Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, and, you know, not that he's any less of a personality, but there's a lot more pomp and, you know, pyro around these other guys, and he's just always been there. And any other era, how do you have a Drew McIntyre and not put a title on him every now and then? Yeah. You got to.
He's brilliant, man. It's the little things. It's the social media stuff. It's the T-shirts. It's very tongue-in-cheek. And like you said, they were booing Cody over there, like during his entrance. Or I mean, some were cheering Cody too, but noticeable boos for Cody.
Yeah.
Noticeable cheers for Drew. And Drew, they just had the video of him sign, like almost like he was a baby face. But it's like the MJF in Long Island syndrome. You know what I mean? Like, he's the face, but he's outside signing autographs. And everyone's like, you know, they're doing like the soccer chants with Drew McIntyre. I love to see it. I love everything about it. It gives Cody, again, I think about baby faces, you know, like you said, Kelvin said, maybe there's some sort of heelish stuff going on. We've been saying it for over a year now. Cody does heal things. But here's my question I have for you, Matt, and people have been talking about this a lot online. Fatu, obviously a factor in this one, comes out during the steel cage portion of this 3 stages of heck match. And Fatu comes in, goes after Drew, eyes locked on Drew, leading me to believe that Drew was the person that attacked Fatu in the first place. That's why he's going after him. Cody tries to pull him off, and then he goes after Cody, knocks down Cody, blah, blah, blah. Cody's down, costs him the match, whatever. And then as Drew's walking up the ramp as the champion, Fatu's eyes are still locked on Drew, and then Cody comes up and pushes Fatu into the cage, and that's the end of that. People are just like, why did he attack Cody? I think the way they made it was Cody grabbed him, he just turned around, hit him, whatever it was. Doesn't care. He's not in it for Cody. He's not in it for Drew.
Exactly. But we're not friends. Right. I hate this guy. Don't get in the way of my hate. So that's what he's doing.
Where I'm going with this, Matt, and maybe you see where I'm going with this, people are like, so why did he attack Cody or whatever it is? Or is Cody going to be a heel now, like you were kind of alluding to earlier? People are kind of like, well, was Cody the one that attacked Fatu? And I'm going to say no, just because Fatu's eyes were even after the fact, his eyes were still locked on Drew, and he was going up the ramp like, I'm getting you. Like Cody was an afterthought.
Yes. And, you know, if this is where we start seeing heel Cody, the best heels, the best villains in comics, movies, professional wrestling, they're the ones who have a justification. They have a point. And, hey, I lost my title because of your beef with somebody else. I wasn't even involved. Yeah, I've got a right to be mad. If I got a right to be mad, I got a right to do whatever I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's how villains start. That's the origin story.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. If it was that Cody was the one to attack Fatu and we find that out down the line, I think that would be great. You know, I heard, again, it's one of those things, I heard more about it before I actually saw it. I can dispel that just because Fatu has been looking at Drew the whole time. Like, he didn't come in and go after Cody. Like, if Cody attacked him, it would make more sense. But if they did do that twist where it was Cody, again, it didn't play out that way, that would be kind of a brilliant, like, oh, Cody's been a babyface this whole time, and, like, we've been cheering him, and he was the guy that took out, you know, Fatu, who's another babyface, who could probably be an awesome heel, too. But I digress, man. Anything else you want to say on that WWE Championship bout?
No, I'm good for right now.
Yeah, I think Drew McIntyre, very well-deserved championship win here. I think it's the right place, right time. So, Matt, we're going to take a little break here. What I'm going to do is we do want to talk about big week for TNA Wrestling. Very happy for them. Finally back on regular TV. It's going to be on AMC this week. It is their big debut. They're pulling out all the stops. Title matches is going to be down in Dallas. I'm very excited for that. We had the opportunity, and I said when we started here on the X, I want to bring you guys the stars of the independents, WWE, TNA, some of the bigger names in pro wrestling. And again, we got to sit down. Shout out senior editor Kelvin Catley. Got to sit down. Kelvin does such a great job with these interviews. Got to sit down with Born Nasty, the realest, the illest, Mike Santana, former TNA world champion. And they just got to talk about what's going on, the momentum TNA has had right now, and also just Santana being able to be so vulnerable and have the fans gravitate towards him and really relate, overcoming addiction, really just making time to be the best dad he can, the best role model for his daughter, and obviously has his eye back on that TNA World Championship as he has another opportunity. So I do want to throw it to our interview. Just some highlights, just some quick highlights here with our guy Kelvin right here on the Downbeat Beatdown.
Everybody, Kelvin Catley, senior editor, BCP Plus here with one of the top guys in the industry and somebody who's made a name for himself in this industry, gave us one of the most feel-good moments of 2025. And he's back in Texas, getting ready for the TNA AMC debut, also Genesis. Joining me now is Mr. Mike Santana. Mr. Santana, thank you so much for your time. And I just wanted to start off the feeling. So you were here for Genesis last year. Yep. The crowd was magnetic to you, and it's been that way, I feel like, since Genesis of last year.
Yep.
Talk to me about the feeling that you have from Genesis last year going into Genesis in 2026, especially with the TV deal and everything that comes around that.
It's been a wild ride. I mean, for anyone that's been paying attention to TNA the last year or so, you could tell just the progression alone and production and crowd sizes, venue sizes, right? We went from, when I first got back, I was at I came back at the Palms in Vegas, right? And, it was a good crowd. It was a nice crowd there. But then, we were still doing smaller shows, 500-600 people, whatever. And then, boom, just like out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
But it was a testament to, again, the hard work that the company and everyone in the company has been putting in. And finally, people were starting to take notice. Of course, also a big part was the partnership with WWE, stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Just creating a sense of unpredictability where guys were showing up over there, guys were showing up here, right? It created an excitement. But just a huge progression. As far as myself, the same progression and growth, and just the fact that I've been able to do it just with straight authenticity, and just being me and telling my story and having the people connect. And I feel like my progression has been organic, and I'm thankful, man. Because again, as you know, I took a gamble on myself. I took a bet on myself. I decided to leave something that was very established and take a gamble, and thankfully it's paying off. So
we'll touch on that in a minute. But you brought up something that I was actually going to ask you about, and that's showing so much of yourself.
Yeah.
How was there any nerves in that, or was it just like, I'm just going to go for it? Because this past year, we've seen a vulnerability from Mike Santana that we've never seen.
Yeah.
But that's also that's pulled more people towards you. Talk to me about that. How was that nerve-wracking? Was that hard, especially showing the troubles that you had to overcome? How hard was that?
Probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Just me, being raised the way that I was, coming from where I came from. I wasn't taught to be that way. I was taught, my mom, single teenage mom, you know what I mean? That I'm the oldest of 5 kids. I was taught to tough it out. You go through things, you eat it up, keep moving forward. You know what I mean? I wasn't taught to process. I wasn't taught to feel. And that's the worst way that you could deal with anything. You know what
bottling,
I mean? Yeah. So, but I had my struggles and stuff like that. But when I came out of rehab and I decided to get back into wrestling and do what I got to do, I think my first interview was with CVV, and I remember I had just made a year sober, and no one knew about what I was going through because I went through it while I was out with my injury, and it was something that it was my problem to deal with,
Right.
and it was something that I didn't want anybody to know about or to deal with or whatever. And so I did what I had to do. Put myself through rehab, and when I came in the process of going through rehab and just the intense therapy sessions that I went through, right, I learned that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to show feelings. It's okay to show that you're a human being, right? And if anything, there's strength in that. And one thing also of what I learned in rehab, they say, the greatest gift that you could give to someone is the gift that was so freely given to you. And that's the gift of hope. That's the gift of clarity. And the way that I do that is sharing my story. So, when I made a year sober, I remember I put a post, and it was pretty much my, the hospital wristbands from the rehab and my coins, my 12 coins. And I remember sitting on that post for weeks.
Wow.
And I was like, because once it's out there, it's out there, the whole world, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like, do I really want to put this out there? Do I, But then it came back to me. It was like, this could help someone. And in turn, that's going to help me.
Right.
So I was like, man, just like with anything, life's a risk.
Yeah, just do it.
And I did it, and man, the outpour of support and the messages that I received. And then when I went and did that interview with CVV, that was my first interview that I did, like, since coming back, right?
Right.
And I shared a bunch there, and it was like, oh man, like everything changed after that. I feel like that was like the catalyst to like springboard,
Yeah.
And I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I did that, because like the messages and just other people and fans that have reached out and saying how much my story has helped them, and that was the purpose,
right?
So
right, and that it was very impactful. And you're right that it feels like the support has just magnified since then.
Great job by Kelvin, as always. Kelvin, one of our best interviewers. I love, and again, putting our guy over here, I love how great he is with the talent, makes him feel comfortable, asks really great, heartfelt, emotional, very real questions. This is a guy who's over 1,000 days sober, and has been doing a great job, and you can see in his career everything he's been accomplishing, and now he has a chance. And I feel very, very, I feel not even mixed. I'm not thrilled that he lost the title right away, but I'm hoping that for this AMC debut, he does get the title back from Frankie Kazarian, but also there is that Nick Nemeth of it all. Nick Nemeth has an essential cash-in as well, so he's kind of lurking. Are they going to do the thing where Nick Nemeth comes in? Santana wins the title, Nick Nemeth cashes in, and again, Santana gets one pulled over on him because you have the former WWE guy. You're going to have new audiences here. You might get cute with people who are more familiar with WWE wrestlers, but I got to shout out Mike Santana for doing that interview. Shout out Kelvin, but Santana is just so vulnerable. So it's like his third interview with us. Always really talks from the heart, shares a lot, man, and hopefully he becomes your next TNA world champion.
Yeah, we have a lot going on for that. Like you said, maybe people are more, new network. Maybe people haven't watched wrestling before. Maybe playing more they haven't watched TNA or haven't watched it in a long time. Blast from the past. They will, part of their working agreement, AJ Styles is announced to appear. Smart. And from AMC Network, they're going to get Perez Hilton.
I didn't know that.
On the show somehow, for some reason.
Was that announced recently? I did not know
I've
that.
seen that, yes. He's been all over saying, I'm going to be part of professional wrestling. And
But that's what you got to do is kind of tap
Yeah.
into the mainstream. I did not know
you
that.
You gotta try and pull people from everywhere because, you'd be surprised at who is a professional wrestling fan, who is a video gamer, who does,
Yep.
who likes this type of music or that type of music. Right now it looks like they're gonna have Elijah and the Hardys in a six-man
Tag. Yep.
Mustafa Ali and the Great Hands, his lackeys.
The Order 4, yes.
Yes. Again, they're going to have that contract signing there with Kazarian and Mike Santana.
So I think now the title matches. I think they moved it. So I don't think it's a contract signing. I think the match.
Because I think they already had the signing.
Yeah, I think the match is because the way they had it was the match was for Genesis, which is kind of like their pay-per-view thing. I don't think that's on AMC. They have their own network, and then we'll get into that later. But I think now they're moving the match, and perhaps so they have the big moment. I think they're moving that match to the AMC, and I could be wrong on that. I believe that's on the AMC show.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to find what channel it was because they jumped around a lot
AXS,
over the last 10
Spike
years.
TV.
Yeah, Pop Network there for a little while. No, it's I'm always excited to see TNA because I always say I want to see who can do more with less.
Yes.
And there has been a lot of movement in the last, year or so, releases from AEW and WWE of people that can, and plenty of people from the independents and homegrown talent that TNA can elevate. But I'm just looking here, like, people like Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Is available that could they could sign and have her show up. They've already taken that Jakara Jackson is now Mara Sade. Gallus, the Good Brothers for their tag division. Gigi Dolan is back to being Priscilla Presley. Cora Jade is back to being Elena Black.
I don't think she's
women's.
I think Cora's done with wrestling, or so she says. Yeah, never say never.
You never say never. A lot of people speculating that Bear Bronson is going to get picked up by TNA.
He had a title match with Frankie, and I don't know. He's there. I don't know. Is he signed? I got to look that up.
Well, there's if he's not signed, there's been rumors that they're looking to sign, or that they would be smart to sign him.
Shout out Bear real quick. One of the and we've known him on the independents here for a while. One of the nicest. I always love interviewing him. One of the nicest, most gracious wrestlers. We're doing our match of the year, and it was between him and someone else, and he's like, no, he is so humble. I got to just shout out Bear.
Yeah. Matt Taven, former ROH world champion.
Is he a free agent?
He is free agent. Mercedes Martinez, women's wrestling legend.
She's saying this is her last year, though.
That could be, yeah. And maybe she just wants to hit the independents, but I would not be surprised to see her show up there.
She's doing indie stuff. Sorry to jump in, Matt. Yeah. She's doing indie stuff. One of the best women's wrestlers I've ever seen, Mercedes Martinez.
Incredible. And somebody who, again, I've known for over 20 years and has worked, I'm pretty sure, every major and mid promotion in North America.
Crowbar?
No. The hype man, Alex Abrahantes.
Oh!
Who has worked commentary, creative, production, or on screen in WWE, TNA, AAA, AEW, pretty much anywhere you can name. He's been there and done it. Ring of Honor. So
hold on, time out. I'm gonna stop you right there. Hold on a second. Is he a free agent right now?
He is a free agent right now.
He's a free agent.
He's all over right now saying, hey, I'm still hyping the computers. I'm still hyping the cruises. I'm doing all these other things.
I love it.
But I will hype your product.
Little inside baseball here. That's your boy. Yeah. Great guy. Shout out, Alex. I did not know he was very, very valuable.
Penn State.
There it is. Can you say that here? No, you could. Right? They're not rivals, right?
No.
So I kid. But that's your boy, man. And we got to meet him thanks to you a few times. Always a perfect gentleman. The stuff he did with the then Lucha Brothers. The stuff he does on commentary. A manager. I've seen him come out and rap at a concert before. I forget the gentleman off the top of my head who does the music for AEW, but he could do commentary in English and Espanol.
Yes.
Very, very would be an asset to any company.
He was actually the Spanish commentary for the first ever All In before it was even AEW, when it was still quote unquote, I think a Ring of Honor card, or
I think he was working with, at some point he was working with Thunder Rosa on commentary. I think at some
Yes.
point he was working with Serpentico and or John Cruz. I don't know who it was at the time, but yeah.
I don't know. I gotta talk to both those guys. I don't
That's
know.
right. That's right. Shout out Alex. Though. That's awesome. Love that. You got anyone else?
There's so many more. It's a very different company now, so maybe Karrion Kross and Scarlett Boudreaux, they left under bad circumstances,
Be a
but
good fit.
they've pretty much gutted the structure there, and it is a different company. So
Vicious Vicky. I'm
well, that
contracted.
is.
Yes.
I was trying not to.
No, it's my job. I'm contractually obligated at all
Yes.
times to say that, or I'm sleeping on the couch. But that being said, Matt, and thank you for doing that, man. I like that rundown. A lot of people who I think that would fit in, but TNA, I remember 2 Junes ago, we were there, and I just saw how special that roster was, and this is when Joe Henry was picking up momentum. Joe Henry, I think, will be at Genesis as well.
Yes, he will.
They're pulling out all the stops. You know what, Matt? You're right to say that, because there will be a segment where somebody, not even return, someone debuts, someone that we're not thinking of, that's going to be like, oh, and there's going to be a big signing or something like that. So very excited for the future of TNA. Thank you to TNA for interviewing some of their stars. We've interviewed the Hardys. We've interviewed Steve Macklin, Deanna in the past when she was there, and Santana a handful of times. And then we got some more interviews coming up. Matt, we're aiming high every single year, not just 2026. And very excited for that. Matt, I did want to change gears. Anything else on TNA, or you want to change gears real
No,
quick?
but when we come back,
Yeah.
we'll talk about how this is probably the payoff from kind of getting the short end of the stick with their deal with WWE, particularly with NXT.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead. No, okay, so...
No, well, we'll get back. We'll use that to segue into what NXT's gotten and where they're going.
Okay, I'm with you. So you want to talk NXT a little bit?
Sure.
So, where I was going to go, because you caught my attention with what you just said, because you're saying TNA got kind of the bad side of the deal as opposed to NXT?
Yeah, I think a lot more NXT people are walking around with major TNA titles than TNA.
I can agree with that.
I don't think any TNA wrestler has gotten any WWE NXT titles.
What you're saying there, I can agree with. It looks like NXT is almost like the stronger of the two, if you want to put it that way, in terms of titles and winning matches and stuff like that. I'm not surprised by that by any means.
No.
But I think, again, more behind the curtain aspect, more like for TNA to get to this point, I think the business relationship really, really has helped TNA, just in terms of, and Santana even said it in the interview, in terms of house size, in terms of momentum that they're getting, But you could see WWE, like, you knew they were going to get Joe Hendry,
Yeah.
I could make a case for them getting Leon Slater down the line, stuff like that. I think WWE, and in terms of everything you said, I do agree with you. They're just, what is it? Stax has got the
international title.
Macklin's title,
Yes.
So I get what you're saying with that. Shout out Trick. This is actually where I want to go with it. Trick, who had, I don't want to say carried both companies, but really had that weight on his shoulder and had that responsibility of the business of being the bridge between TNA and NXT, WWE, however you want to say it at that point. And I think he's done a great job. This guy shows up on SmackDown 2 SmackDowns ago, comes in, he's got the white fur coat, he's got the gear. How long am I saying,
Hollywood
man?
Trick Williams. That is his new thing, and he's killing it.
How long have I been saying here, Matt? We've been sitting here at this table, like, I think Trick is the real deal, not just because of how good he is in the ring, and I know we can nitpick a little bit on that. We'll get into that in a minute, but how good he is on the mic, his look, him being able to carry that title for Trick and A, he is fantastic. I think he's the real deal. I said it here, and I'll say it again, Matt. I can make a case, check me if you need to, that he could be a guy like The Rock.
You're not that far off. I think that's the hope. I think we're the management now. They have hopes instead of expectations, and then they'll make the moves where they got to. But yeah, and as far as from the very beginning, okay, he looks like $1 million. He can talk the talk, and throughout the years, I always thought it seemed like he was taking a while to get up to speed in the ring. Last couple times I've seen him, in fact, starting with NXT Gold Rush late last year. Amazing card. Would hate to have missed out on it.
I wish I was there. I'm just gonna put it down. I would rather be there than where I was. And no disrespect.
Then,
whoa.
but no.
Whoa. Well played, man. I'm not even mad at it.
But when I watched his ring work on SmackDown, he was pulling out things I have not seen him do in the ring in NXT. He did some cartwheel type maneuvers out there. He's throwing out kicks like Booker T used to, and maybe Booker's gotten into his ear a little bit and telling him, hey, what you can do and where you should be at. And he has been a very bright star as of late. He always was a potential, but he could be going supernova a lot sooner than we think.
Yeah,
than we planned.
He's one of those guys, like, I always like to see guys kind of climb the ladder. You know, I'll make exceptions like Stephanie Vicaire. Like, I really thought, give her the jetpack, give her the title. And that's exactly what they did. I think she's tremendous. But a guy like Trick, I mean, I can make the same argument for. He's fantastic. But I like what they're doing so far. You don't want to do that thing where you shoot a guy straight to the top and then, you know, it's like it's all downhill from there.
The LA Knight treatment?
Oh, man, we're getting real. We're not holding back today. Yeah, he's
pushing for a couple of months, put him in the world title picture, you know, loses off his shenanigans, and then you never talk about him again. You know those things.
I think him disappearing right now is a good thing, so he can come back strong. But I understand the frustration, and I will say this is not that I LA Knight was never one of my guys, but I always respected him because you would always send me clips and stuff with him as Eli Drake. I'm like, oh, this guy's the real deal, this and that. In WWE, you know, people are making the argument, you know, the catchphrase, this and that. During this tournament, with the last, not the last ride, the last time is now, thank you, tournament. A lot of wrestling, guys. A lot of wrestling. I try to keep it all in check up here. He did a phenomenal job in the ring. He had great match. What was it with Jay and then with Gunther? He had a great tournament. Like Cardona or Ryder at the time. I think he showed me something, man. At an advanced age, he's still going. This is the most I've ever liked him. He's great. And that being said, if he comes back as a heel, I get it. And he's a fantastic heel.
And you know what? Depending on what's going on with him right now, whether it's a Rumble return, whether it's Elimination Chamber, he can be a huge factor in either one of those. I could certainly see him winning either one of those. Thing is, they're going to be spoiled for choice coming up soon, because you have, again, a stacked, main event scene with Cody and Drew and Roman and CM Punk, and you also have Braun Breaker. You have
great match on Monday.
Maybe very soon, within a year or two, in that, in those types of matches, you will have Trick Williams, and you are probably going to have, after I'm already saying a very strong appearance in this year's Royal Rumble, Obafemi.
Yep. You read my mind.
At New Year's Evil, defeated Leon Slater from TNA, and apparently left the belt in the ring and walked out.
Man, what a statement. Bro, like, you don't have a formal announcement. You don't make a big thing out of it. I do wish that they showed on camera that he, like, because basically what they did a backstage segment with Ava or whoever, and Robert Stone comes in, like, oh, did you see what Oba just did? And then the belt's kind of in the ring. I would have liked to seen him place it. That's just, again, I like nuance and stuff. I like to nitpick. I would have liked to see him place it down, but what a big time move. What a big time move.
That was a big one.
I love it. And he's showing up in the Rumble. We've been saying here, he's showing up in the Rumble. Don't even have him come in. Have him come in at number 1 or 2. You know why? Because the entrances, a lot of times, I remember one year saying Eddie's coming in at 1. Why? Because he has the car. Because he comes in with a car. Or JBL's coming in at 1. Why? Because he has the car. The big entrances get 1. Why? Have Elijah at 1. Why? Because he's going to play the guitar. Like, you know what I'm saying? So have this guy come on. He's got that big entrance, slow. The crowd could be a part of it.
If you put him anywhere else, the next guy's going to come out before he makes his way to the ring.
And that's not a disrespect. We love
No.
the Edge. We love Ova.
And I will say this: they do a great job with his entrance. The night of John Cena's retirement, you had that match with Cody and Oba, and
Loved it.
my son, isn't a huge wrestling fan, but he likes what he likes, and he sees Cody. He's like, all right, first of all, we'll mention how Cody came out first.
Yeah.
And then he says, oh, yeah, who's Cody guy? And then he hears the music, and he sees just the light and the silhouette of Oba Femi. The first thing out of my 10-year-old's mouth is like, oh, Cody's cooked.
I love it.
Because it's like the juggernaut is coming to the ring.
Yes, this is why we're going to watch all the PLEs at your house from now. I'm so here for it. I love it. That's my favorite part. But again, in the arena for that one, I went on a little rant about the way the Cena thing ended. Not even the way it ended, just the crowd reaction. But I love when the NXT guys come to the main roster for something like this, and Cena made it very clear that they were going to showcase the next generation, the NXT talent. So you said Cody comes out first, start the show. Oba comes out next, great production, great entrance, but the crowd, and like everyone did it. Like, and the people that didn't know joined in right away.
They got in pretty quick.
And
it's nice, easy to learn.
It made it feel like, oh, this is a new guy. For those who didn't know him, he's exciting. Oh, there's something we can do during his entrance. Everyone was in. Oh, but it felt like everybody knew him. I love that when the guys, even when NXT, when Cass and Enzo had come up and everyone's doing, bada boom, real sky, like they're all doing it with. I love that because it's like those who are watching the NXT or the Black and Gold or whatever it was at the time, and then they come to the main roster, they have that support. And I mean, how long have we been saying it? Oba's is the truth.
He is.
He's the real deal. Just going back to Trick real quick. I like the way they've been using him, though. And we could go on and on about both of these guys. They're fantastic. I can make a case for waiting for Trick to show up in the Rumble, but I think it was 2 SmackDowns ago. Trick's in the ring. I think it was with Sammy, if I remember correctly. He held his own. He was great on the mic. Because I think it was Sammy, because you had kind of that juxtaposition of Trick in the white fur coat, the gear looking like $1 million, the shades. Let's talk about it. With Sami Zayn in just like a zip-up hoodie, kind of looking, like
Sami Zayn.
Yeah, like casual. No disrespect. I love it.
No.
He keeps it real, man. That's the thing. But I think that was kind of the idea there. And just now you have Trick. I think he beat Rey Fenix with hooking the tights. I could make a case for him actually hitting his finisher and establishing his finisher, trick shot. But I do like Rey Fenix a lot, so you don't want to make Rey Fenix look weak. So he hooks the tights, but he did hold his own with Randy Orton earlier in the show. And having a guy like Orton so soon with Trick, having a conversation, I mean, that's telling, man.
That is.
I can't say enough good things about Trick, man.
And those two, along with apparently Javon Evans, Jordan Grace, Blake Monroe, Lash Legend is already up. But they're all NXT talent that are going to be on Raw or SmackDown.
Is Blake? I didn't know Blake.
People are saying Blake Monroe.
Okay.
So
maybe they said something announced. Maybe I missed that one. Okay. Interesting. With Jordan Grace, fantastic. Ever since she came into that Rumble, she's been fantastic. I was surprised never to see her hold gold unless I'm wrong. I don't think she's held any gold in NXT or WWE.
No, I don't think she has. And to be honest, I think she's one of these people that probably didn't need to go to NXT.
Yeah,
but I think maybe they got there to just get a few more eyes on them. Some people that didn't know who she was. Okay, maybe they'll know her from that.
The only time I picked against Stephanie Vaquera, and it hurt me, Matt. It hurt me. The only time, because she's that darn good, was I picked Jordan Gray. And Kelvin kind of talked me into it, right? Don't listen to peer pressure, kids.
No.
And sure enough, Vaquera retains. But Jordan is that good. I'm surprised to not see her have gold. But it looks like she's targeting Jade Cargill, who I really like the push she's had and dominance she's been. But I think, and I could be wrong, I had checked the stats. I'm a stats guy. I think she has not defended the WWE. Or did BFAB get a shot? I don't think it was a title shot. I think it was just a match. I don't think she's defended the title since winning it.
You may be right on that, yeah.
I got to check that, so don't quote me on that. But
Which
I believe,
for a heel isn't bad.
Right. But I don't want her to fizzle. She's worked so hard to get to this point. I love that one match she had where she was just, it was against Stratton, who we have, another one we haven't seen for a while. There's a couple people. Look, it looks like LA Knight's going to show up at the Rumble or show up in some big different repackage or something. Oba, I think, at the Rumble. And now maybe Tiffany Stratton. She's been in the Mania commercials, but I've not seen her on TV either. So it's a lot of things going on. I did shout out Matt Cardona. I'm happy he's back. Anything else you want to touch on, Matt? I think we hit a lot of. We
got. There's a lot of. Today was a pretty big lore drop as we're back from so many weeks. Class is back in session, so we took you to school.
Love it.
And we're happy to do this week in and week out.
I love it, man, and good input as always. We're going to get the music going again. One of my goals this year, and I always hate being, it's this year, we're going to do this, man. Always, I always don't want to define it, like by a time period. Like we're just going to onwards and upwards always. Hope to get some live music in here for you guys one day. We're going to keep the bands going. We're going to keep the stars coming, whether the independent stars of wrestling, they're going to be sitting across from us in this studio. A lot of people interested, a lot of local New Jersey wrestlers, some former Monmouth people perhaps we'll have on. Matt has pointed me in the direction of some local bands that I'd like to feature. And as always, we're going to keep those stars coming. We're going to get the independent talent. We're going to get those stars coming from the WWE, TNA, maybe some Major League Sports. Very excited, Matt. Thank you so much for being here. For Matt Wittes, myself, Rob Williams, here on the BCP Plus Downbeat Beat Down Hour. Everyone, stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out here on the X, 88.9 FM, WMCX, West Long Branch, New Jersey. We out, guys.